For our pre-calc project, we are using pennies and using one of the pre-calculus equations from class and finding the different variables and weighing pennies and finding their masses compared to different objects. So the first, what we're doing first is finding the number of pennies for each day, computation using AT equals 2 to the number of days minus 1. The equation is AT to the equals 2 to the number of days, meaning x, raised to the x minus 1. So our idea was to take pennies over the course of 10 days. So in order to do that, we would have to put the number of days in for x from 1 to 10. So from here, the computations would be, so as you can see, on day 1 we started off with 2 to the 1 minus 1, which is 1 penny. And as you can see, there's a relationship between all 10 explaining how it doubles. And it goes from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. And then on day 10, there's 512 pennies. The next part of our experiment was to find the average weight of all 512 pennies from what we calculated on the board. And we found that the statistic showed that before 1982, the penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. And from 1982 to present, the percentage of copper to zinc is 97.6% zinc and only 2.4% copper. What this shows is that we would have to take an average weight due to the fact that we cannot account for a penny weighing the same amount due to the change after 1982.
Oh, so here's the 1981 penny. As you can see, it has a weight of 3.1 grams. And then, since they switched the composition of each penny in 1984, we have a weight of 2.5 grams.
The next part of our experiment is to take this beaker, this 300 milliliter beaker, and weigh it in order to tear it out and find the weight. We find that it is about 162 grams. So we found that it's 162 grams. Now the objective or the point of this is to add the pennies. Since this is only a 400 gram scale, we're only going to add about 200 pennies just to get the amount.
And 50 would be 291.3 grams.
Okay, so we will weigh the next set of 50.
Next set's on the scale, and we got 291 grams, well, 291.3 grams.
That's 7.
Oh, wow. Edit that up. Now we got 295.3 grams, 298.4 grams,
294.3,
with 302.3 grams. Got 294.8 grams, 295.5 grams. We have 295.4 grams. Alright, this set we have 299.8 grams. Alright, for our final set we're going to only weigh 12 pennies, since when we did the daily calculations for how many pennies we'd have after 10 days, it came out to, on the 10th day, it came out to 512 pennies. So we just have to add in 12. And 12 pennies with the beaker weighs 196.1 grams.
What I mathematically did here was I took all the numbers that Josh gave me, all 11 measurements, and I posted them here. And we found that the weight of a 300 milliliter flask is 162 grams. So what I did here is I added up all these and got 3,154.9 grams of pennies with the weight of the 300 milliliter flask. So what I did is I took did a simple calculation of 162 times all 11 calculations. You got 1,782 grams. I subtracted the two, and my total weight of pennies is 1,372.9 grams.
Without the weight of the beaker.
Without the weight of the beaker. Okay. For our next part of our experiment, we have to finish off with this, saying that the weight of 512 pennies without the 300 milliliter beaker was 1,372.9 grams. But what we want to do in order to present our next experiment is to find how many grams, how many pounds 1,372.9 grams is. Previously, in order to we have to put into our data the fact that in 1982 the penny switched from weights, like Josh showed you earlier, and we wanted to calculate the average mass or gram of 1 penny. So in order to do that, we have to take the 1,372.9 grams and divide that by our total pennies.
512.
And our average amount of weight for a penny is 2.68, which proves of the fact that a majority of our pennies were before 1982. For the next part of the experiment, we want to find how much weight we want to convert this 1,372.9 grams of all our pennies and convert it into pounds, which Josh is going to do.
Alright, since we have the conversion that 1 pound equals 453.59237 grams, we can just easily convert the weight of the 512 pennies into grams. So we first take the original grams of the pennies, which is 1,372.9 grams. Then with the conversion factor of 1 pound equals 453.59237 grams, which equals
3.03
pounds.
This is crucial for our next question that we're going to ask. The next question is, stupidly, you never think this, but have you ever wondered how many pennies it would take to add up to the largest land animal in the world, which is the African elephant? No, you would never have to calculate this in real life, but we just thought it would be a nice additive to our experiment. So here, we have 3.03 pounds is equal to the average of the 512 pennies. So what we're now taking is we're taking the average weight of an elephant, which is 16,500 pounds, and we're simply taking that and dividing it by 3.03 in order to get 5,445.544,554 pounds. And then from here, what we want to do is we want to take this 5,000 times that by 512 pennies. And the answer to that is 2,788,118.81 pennies, but since you can't have that, it's just 2,788,118 pennies.
And that would equal the average amount of pennies to equal the average weight of an elephant.
Now what Josh is going to show you is how much money that would be.
Alright, we know that 1 penny equals $0.01, which equals 1 over 100. And now to convert the number of pennies for the average weight of an elephant, we have to use this number and multiply it by the conversion factor up here. So we have 2,788.18 pennies times 1 over 100 pennies. To get $27,881.18. I mean 18. Yes.
So from this, we learned that in order to weigh pennies to equate to the weight of an African elephant, you would need almost 3 million pennies, or almost $28,000. So it might sound outrageous, but the one thing that is always true is numbers never lie.